What's up, everybody? We're going to go over how to create wearables for Decentraland using Mod Studio Lite. Mod Studio Lite is a entry-level beginner's version of Mod Studio. To get the full version, you could click on the link around this video and find the full version of Mod Studio. So let's just jump right into creating Decentraland wearables in Mod Studio Lite. You're looking at the training page here, and you should have already looked over the description, looked over your resources and required tools. The video will be down here when you're watching it. This is going to be the video that you're watching. As far as tools required, you only need to use Pixlr or some photo editing tool that you normally use. For core resources, we have the Mod Studio Lite for Decentraland page. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. You have the Decentraland Builder page. This is where you upload your collections and your items and you're able to test them out. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And then you have the Decentraland Publishing documentation. We're going to go ahead and check that out first. Have a look at this later, more in depth. I just really wanted to call it out right now just to let you know that there is a publication fee, and it is $150 US translated into mana. You're going to have to pay mana, which is Decentraland's cryptocurrency. And at the current price, that's about 200 mana at $150 USD. That's the exchange rate. So expect that. And the reason why they do that is just to keep spam out. They don't want to get a bunch of garbage in there. They want items that actually people spend some time on, that they feel people would actually buy. And so, if you feel like somebody's actually going to buy your item, you're willing to pay $150 for it because you know that you'll have people that actually buy it. So the cool thing about that is it's only per item. It's not per quantity of that item. So say you have 100,000 of a particular shirt, you just pay $150 for that shirt, and then you can sell 100,000 of them for what, $5, $10, $20, whatever you decide. Okay, so it is per item. And so anyways, that's the one thing I did want to call out. I think it's actually very worth it. I've never uploaded an item and not made the $150 back, or the money, at least our initial fee back. So that's pretty cool there, because there's not many items on there. Not many people are willing to pay that. So go ahead and get in first and be willing to pay that. And as long as you're uploading good designs, somebody will most likely buy it at some point. Okay, especially if you have some sort of marketing tactic. All right, and then there's the publication process. You just want to read through that, make sure that you follow all the rules and guidelines, click on some of these links, and just really get to familiarize yourself with their different terms. They have the user guide here. They have the detailed information for curation committees start here. You just read through that so that you know what kind of designs that you need to upload or that you can't upload. Now, just to be straight up, there really isn't a whole lot. Just don't be hateful. Don't be political. Don't be, talking about, things that are going to be offensive. Just be very careful in those areas. They're not very strict on things like drugs and alcohol. Certain platforms are more strict than others, but Decentraland, it really just comes down to their committee and what they want to vote on. And that's what makes it different than, other platforms. And that's what makes having a DAO enticing to certain platform and certain users, is because you don't have to worry about the corporate entity deciding what you can and can't publish. The DAO ultimately decides. And really the general rule is don't be offensive. That's really just the general rule. Now you want to go read through this more in depth to learn about it. And I just really wanted to call this out in the very beginning because it is important. If you're going to be paying $150, you should know that ahead of time, for one. And for two, you should know that there is this process, because you don't want to lose that money. If you pay it and your item doesn't get approved, you're going to lose your money. Okay, so anyways, that is that I wanted to call out. Back over here in the training, notice that we have Mod Studio Try Now and then the Builder. So I'm going to look at those really quickly. We have Mod Studio Try Now for Decentraland. Currently we have 4 items in here, but we'll have more in here. We'll continue to add more in here. All right, so when you first load this up, it's actually going to be a blank page. There's nothing on here on the canvas. What you're going to do is you're going to pick an item that you want to edit, and you could start editing that item. So for this demo, I'm going to pick the shoes that we have here and get a good look at these. Notice that they got a white bottom, they got a logo here, they got the logo there, they got this red trim on the inside, and then what appears to be a short sock right there. So we're going to edit that just to show you. I have these templates already in here. you can just cover it up and see, that's what it looks like when you quickly edit it. But what you're going to be able to do is drag an image onto here and change it. Okay, and so that's how easy it is to just drag your image on here and then click the drop down menu, and then it'll change it. I'm actually going to pull up an image that I have. This was the template that was originally on there when we loaded it, and so I'm going to go down there. I dragged it on there, and now I'm going to click on it, and boom, now you see it applied the template. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, to get the templates, you're going to come over here to templates, and then you see the shoes here. You're going to click on that. It opens up this page, and you're just going to drag it to your desktop, or you're going to right click on it. The important thing is never to change this. The dimensions, everything's got to be exactly the same. Otherwise, it'll mess up. It won't lay out on the model over here. Okay, so there's that. So we'll come back to that. Let's now look at Decentraland Builder. That was the other thing that we wanted to look at before we get going. All right, so Decentraland Builder, this is where you build. I mean, that's what build means, right? Builder is where you build. And so this is actually in the collections tab. So if you go to builder.decentraland.org, it'll bring you to the scenes homepage, and then you're going to click on collections. And then here in collections, you're going to, every item that you publish is going to have to be in a collection. So you might as well just create a collection from the start. For our demo, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to come over here to editor. I'm going to show you how to utilize this editor to demo your products. Okay, so we're going to click on that editor, and what it does is it loads up your Decentraland character, or actually a random Decentraland character, just any one. And you could come down here to this bottom left. There is the avatar icon there. If you click on that, what that does is it opens up this bottom panel. You could change from male to female. I guess that's a female. You could switch it over to a male, and it just switches. It just gives you just random characters. Unless maybe I said that last time. I'm not sure if we change it every time. But either way, you could change your hair. You could change, do whatever you want to it with all of these different elements here. But also you have your items, and this is what you're going to do is you're going to upload your item here by clicking that new item. You'll upload it here, and you'll be able to try it on. All right, and then change other settings. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at that here in a minute. We're going to start over here in Mod Studio. We're going to edit a template over here in Pixlr. We have the template already loaded here in Pixlr, and we're going to edit that template, and we are going to have something that is going to look completely the same shoe, but completely different, our own style. And then we're going to upload that over to Decentraland. We're going to try it on, see what it looks like. And then we're not going to publish it because I don't want to pay $150 to demo this. But I showed you guys the documentation on that, and you just want to make sure that you're paying attention to that documentation. All right, so I already got our template over here in Pixlr, and it's loaded. It's the right dimensions. Notice that it is 512 pixels by 512 pixels. That is what is required for Decentraland Wearables, is that dimension. It's actually the most common dimension that's required among Metaverse wearables. And so just get familiar with that one, 512 by 512. And so we have the template here. Now what I want to do is look at this template and compare it over here to the actual item. So notice on the shoe, we have the icon here, and we have the mod logo here on the side, here on this side, here on that side, on all the sides of the shoe, and then we have white underneath and then red around. And then we also have this white trim here, okay? So we come back over to the editor. Here's the red. You could change that red to any color, and it'll change that red. Here's our icon. You could change that icon, cover it up, and it'll go right here on the shoe. Here's mod with the bottom sole shoe, the outside of the bottom, this trim. You just put the logo there, and look, it flips it around. You only have to put it in that one spot, and it automatically flips it around onto the other side of the shoes. And then this little white square down here is the color of this little sock or whatever it is up there. All right, so I'm going to show you really easy. I actually already made one. So this is the finished one that I've made, but when I start working on it, I don't actually have all of this visible. What I do is I keep my template above my main background just while I'm working on it, and I just click things on and off, and I kind of just see where they show up. So I wanted to replace this icon here with this little new logo. So I have a circle that I put there, and then I put this little mod word there, and I just layered those on top of the template. Now what that means is this little white piece that's the shoe top, that means it's going to have the same print as the shoe. It also means this little red piece that's inside in here, it's going to have the same print of the shoe. What the shoe should look like is complete cheetah print inside right here. The red, this white should be cheetah print, but the new logo should be right here. And then there should not be a logo here. It should be white all the way around the edges. That's what it should look like. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. I'm going to click on, actually, let's hide this there. And actually, let's not hide it. Let's put it underneath because that fills that white area in. Click Save. And I'm going to click Save As. Because I don't have any transparency, I'm just going to use a JPEG. That's fine. Click Save As, and I'm going to save it right there. Boom. Now I have it saved on my computer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the folder here. I'm going to take the logo that I had, or the image that I had. I'm going to drag it over here. And I'm going to choose it. And boom. It is done. Now notice that there is this little brown brown circle. It didn't actually put the cheetah print on there. And then notice inside here it's spread out, and notice inside there it's spread out. Notice that it's brown down here on the bottom. So the reason for that is because back here on the template, where it's actually picking the color up from, the white. So remember we changed that white. Oh, I gotta bring it up above. We changed that white out for full cheetah print. Well, where it's actually picking the color up, it's going to be down here on this brown, this darker brown. It's actually picking that color up to fill that space in. And then underneath, it's doing the same thing. It's got like a blur right there because it's picking up like a blur of these colors down here. So if you have a pattern that you're laying out above the whole thing, just keep in mind that it's just gonna pull a little piece of that corner. And the same thing up here, it's gonna pull a little piece of that. Remember that was this inside. So it's gonna pull a little piece of that area that was red right there. And it's gonna lay it out in there, okay? So now every item is gonna be that way. Every item that we have over here, we have this hoodie. You put a pattern on there, it's going to lay out. You might have to look at the template and go back and forth and see how it's laying out, versus how you want it to lay out. Some of these items will be a little bit easier than others, and as we add in a lot more, they'll get a little bit more complex. But this is a great way to get started. It's a great way to learn how this works, because these templates are very similar to what you're going to find in the main version of Mod Studio when you guys upgrade. Okay, right now you're going to use Mod Studio Lite. But when you upgrade to our main version of Mod Studio, you're going to have to do this a little bit more in depth. And we're actually going to have a live editor to where while you edit it, you'll see it moving over here on the model. Okay, so it'll get a little bit better for you as you advance. All right. But for right now, get familiar with this. It's very easy. So let me just switch this back over. And I don't know why. I think I'm moving too fast. All right, there it is there, and it looks like I got my icon on backwards. I just realized that the icon on the toes is backwards. So let's remember that as we're making these. All right, so the way to fix that is really just to flip the image over in Pixlr. I'm going to do that really quickly because this is text. I gotta rasterize it if I'm saying that correctly. Then you just flip it. Boom, it's backwards. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download it again, save as. I'm gonna save over the one that I had previously. Yes, save over it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back over here, refresh this page, simply because I'm uploading an image with the same name. And let's grab it now. Let's see this one, bring it over there, choose the template, boom. I got it flipped around and it's laid on there right. All right. So I'm happy with these. These are cool. They're I mean, just to make for demo purposes. Like I said, I'm not going to try to sell this, but I'm going to download it. And then let's open it up and see what this looks like. So just opened up over here and check them out. These are the shoes. I have this app called 3D Viewer here on my PC. Get familiar with it if you're going to be doing this. Pretty cool app. It makes it easy to open up these 3D models. And you can do little turntables and whatnot, get good looks at it, and make videos of that, screenshots, and all that cool stuff. So cool little tool there, but we get a good look at it right there. And look, it's exactly what we just created. So then what we're going to do is we're going to, well, we would want to rename it. We just downloaded it. So I'm just going to call this Cheetah Shoes. And then we're going to come over here to Decentraland Builder. We're going to click on this plus icon, new item. And I'm just going to drag the shoes on there that we just made. And these shoes are both male and female, so we're going to choose both. Cheetah Shoes, we'll leave that. Matter of fact, we'll call it Mod Cheetah Shoes because we put the mod logo on it. Now, this is how rare it is. Is it unique? Is it 10, 100, whatever? How many you want to sell? We're going to do very common for these. And we'll let everybody have them for free. And then category, you want to choose where it's going to go on the body. Now, if it's something for like something that's going to replace both top and bottom, so like a dress, a full body dress, you'd pick upper body, and then I'll show you how to do the lower body later. But for now, for this particular one, we're going to choose feet. We'll select that, and we'll click create. And what it's going to do is it's going to create that item and load it up over here on your avatar. So when I scroll back, so check it out. I got my guy with his shoes on there. And I guess that's my girl. She's female. And you could actually pick an emote, have her dance, and look at, she's going to be boogieing. Let me move this up so we get a look at those shoes while she's boogieing. Check her out. Those shoes are moving. We just created those in just a few minutes. I mean, it took a little bit longer because I talked and I explained some things to you guys. But it was very, very easy to do that. And then once that's done, once you've uploaded your item, you can go ahead and save it. It should be over here. Yeah, my items tab. I could come over here. I could click on this tab right here, and that allows me to do stuff to it as well, like give it a description. It's got its category. I could do some overrides here. This is what I was saying. Like if you had a dress that was a top and you needed to override the bottom, you would mark it as the top in the first step, but then you would override the bottom, the lower body in this section, so that way they don't wear pants underneath the dress and so on and so forth for the rest of them. You want to add tags and add all the other stuff, and then you have the ability to save it. It'll automatically save, and it'll be back in your builder's homepage, and you'll be able to publish it from there. And to do that, you'll just want to read through the publishing instructions, which I've already showed you. And I've given to you over here on the page. You're just going to click on publishing. You're going to read through that, and you're going to go ahead and publish your item. All right. If you have any questions, go over into the Metaverse Wearables group. We have about 500 members in there at the time of making this video. And so join that group. Ask other members some tips. Ask them what they've learned. If you get stuck, ask questions in there. That's where you're going to find the support for this Decentraland Wearables, Mod Studio, and anything actually about creating Metaverse Wearables. All right, so get into that group, and hope you enjoyed this training. Hope that was helpful for you. See you on the next one.